Hi everyone, I hope you're well, thanks for clicking on the video. This is my review for episode 6 of The Last of Us Season 1. I just want to jump in like I've jumped into the rest of my reviews by saying it was another great episode, so I'm so glad that the quality is staying consistent. I do have some feedback that's not positive. I'm going to leave that towards the later half of the video because there is a lot I liked about this episode that I'd like to break down. Firstly, I'm so glad they decided to open up the gates of Jackson, right? If you remember correctly, you don't actually enter Jackson at any point during the first game. It's not until part 2 you actually get to see what it looks like inside. So I'm so glad they decided to welcome us in there for the reunion with Tommy and Joel, which was, by the way, such a beautiful moment. It's almost strange to see Joel smiling so much, right, from ear to ear. So that was a great moment. They handled that really well. Honestly, I've found the episodes so far that have the least amount of like combat and action are the episodes that I've been enjoying the most, right? And that's much like how I feel about the video game, right? Like my favorite moments from the game are when it's just you and Ellie, right? Joel and Ellie, and you get to really witness the development of their relationship, right? You get to see them bridge the gap between the two of them, and that's such a beautiful journey you get to embark on in the game. And those are the highlights, right? I watched this show with my girlfriend and she seems to be making the point that she wishes there were more action scenes. She wishes there were more infected. And I partly agree with her actually. I'll leave that to the later half of the video. But that's not what The Last of Us is about at the end of the day. It's about Joel and Ellie and the growth of their relationship, and you get to see Joel open up, right? He's got the past of just so much trauma and he can't allow himself to love this girl because he doesn't feel as though he's capable of protecting her like he would have been back in the day, right? And it's that dynamic which makes The Last of Us special, right? It's not the infected, it's not the action. As awesome as that all is, it's not what makes The Last of Us great at the end of the day. More scenes that I really loved from this episode were, of course, the iconic moment from the game where Joel finds Ellie, she's reading the diary of a girl and she's like, I can't believe this is what they have to worry about, right? You don't know what loss is, that whole scene. They pretty much, of course, there were alterations, right? Like that actually took place in Jackson in the show, which of course she runs away in the game and they have to catch up to Ellie. But the way they handled it in this episode was fantastic. They basically, I won't say copy and pasted it, but the lines of dialogue were pretty much bar for bar, right? And beat for beat. And that scene hit because of it. I'm so glad they decided to just run with that scene as it was, because it's just, we all know that's an iconic scene for a reason. It's beautiful. Like I said, I'm just so glad they decided to do it that way and keep it true to the video game. And lastly, the final thing that I was really just blown away by really was Pedro Pascal's performance throughout the episode, of course, but the moment where he really opens up to Tommy about, just how desperate he is for his help, essentially. He needs Tommy to take Ellie from him because he can feel himself, beginning to care for Ellie in a way that he knows is going to lead to pain. He knows that if you love someone, much like what happened with Sarah, you're leaving yourself vulnerable to being hurt, and he feels as though he can't take that anymore, right? And he can really notice that he is beginning to care for Ellie, and that scares him. And Tommy sees that, and this is insight we don't really get in the game, right? We don't get to see like that emotional insight from Joel. He's kind of like a man of stone in the game, right? But this gives him like a whole new layer of character, which I'm really enjoying, and I'm glad they decided to do that. I won't lie, coming into this episode off of last week, I was beginning to get a little concerned with the pacing of the show, right? And what I mean by that is I was worried about how they'll manage the rest of the storyline from the game, right? We have 4 episodes left, right? Or 3 now. But coming into this episode, we had 4 episodes. And, episode 3 was fantastic. It was all new original content. And it definitely justifies its existence because of how good it was. But that's new original content that's not from the game, right? So that's taking away from the original storyline from the game. Also, the whole Kathleen's fucking story arc between episodes 4 and 5, I feel as though that took too much time away from Joel and Ellie. And because of all of the new original content we've had, I feel as though these episodes in the later half of the season are being rushed, right? And I don't even feel as though you can deny that. The fact that we had the Tommy reunion, everything with Jackson, and everything that happened at the university, all in this one episode. Granted, I walked away from the episode satisfied, but I feel as though it could have been flushed out so much more. Is that not why we're doing this whole HBO show? Is it not to flesh out the story that we already love, to give us more extra added context to the scenes we've adored for the past decade? Why is it we're rushing through this? It doesn't make any sense to me. And there are some serious negative consequences, right, to rushing through the story and the way that they're doing it. I really don't buy into Joel and Ellie's relationship as much as I did at this point in the story in the video game. And of course, it's different in the video game, right? Like, you spend more time with them, you're with them the whole time throughout the entire journey, and because of that, it just seems more believable. Whereas now in the HBO show, because they're rushing through the storylines so much, it's harder to buy into their relationship. This is 6 episodes in, we're missing a full episode because of episode 3, and between episodes 4 and 5, you know, that's another episode we missed of Joel and Ellie. And so we really need more time with these two characters, in my opinion, to buy into their relationship as much as we did in the game. And seemingly with episode 7 being about the Left Behind DLC, right, we're going to be diving into Ellie's past with Riley. That's another episode missed where we're not going to get to develop Joel and Ellie's relationship. And then David in the Winter, that's only an hour-long episode again, supposedly. These are all moments in the game, key moments that I was hoping to see really flushed out more than they're doing. And that is a little disappointing. But nonetheless though, you have to review these episodes for the quality of television that it is, and it is great television. Like, I would easily rate this episode an 8, maybe even a 9 out of 10, but it's just a shame to see them rushing through it in the way they are. For now though guys, that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more Last of Us content. I'll have the episode 7 review up in the next couple of days, so stay tuned to that. If you have any thoughts and opinions on episode 6, please leave a comment down below and I'd love to get back to you when I have the time. Thanks guys.